What is up? Looking forward to doing this show today with Kegger. We've got the action plan, the NFL action plan. We got 6 NFL games to talk about. The postseason starting tomorrow. We will be live streaming all of those games, whether it be free or premium. You can get in on those. Plus, if you're watching this live or before Friday's college football playoff semifinal between Texas and Ohio State, we'll have a broadcast tonight, 7:30 Eastern time. So looking forward to that. But if you're watching after that, we got basically all the news we need. Kegger, I must say, being here in Denver, I am excited about the Bills and the Broncos, but having the chance to watch the Steelers and the Ravens beat the hell out of each other, knowing that the players don't like each other, that excites me. That's probably the game I'm most excited about. Talk to me. What are you excited about for NFL wildcard weekend, my friend?
What's up, buddy? Yeah, I think the game I'm looking forward to the most is probably the Green Bay Eagles game and Washington Tampa. I don't know what to make of the Rams game now. The Rams are like 3 now in some spots off the venue change.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know where people's heads are at. Like, there might be multiple players on that team that may have lost their homes from all the fires going on in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to know where they are at mentally. So that's a tough one to call. I think if they were home and the line was 3, you snapped at them, but it's harder to get there. But I'm excited about the Washington game and probably the Eagles game the most.
Yeah, I know you were excited because you thought that the Packers were in a lot of trouble, and I wonder if that has changed as the week has gone on, and we'll find out as we do the show. So, hey, before we really get going, smash that like button. That'd be wonderful. And then try and subscribe. Well, you don't have to try. Just do it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's very simple. If you're on X right now, come on over. Hang out with us. Let's go. So, again, this is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to Wild Card Weekend. Of course, we start with the Houston Texans because if they're in the playoffs, every single time they play in their first game on Saturday. Okay. What up, Mason? What up, Jason? And what up, Iowa? 35,000 tickets purchased by Rand. Yeah. I mean, what's the capacity down there in Phoenix? That's the thing. Like, if it's 65,000 people, I don't know if the Rams would have really had much of a home field advantage in LA, maybe a little one, right? How much would we have given them?
About probably 1.5 points.
A 1.5 points? It's a little more than I thought.
Yeah.
So what is it down in Glendale now?
It's a neutral site. There's no home field.
Yeah, so it's totally zero.
Yeah.
Whew.
You have to think there will be a lot more Minnesota fans there now than they would have been. So I think it's probably a net plus, which is why we've seen the line move towards the Minnesota Vikings. But yeah, I mean, had the Rams been home, it probably would be between 1 point and 1.5 points home field.
63,400. So if they have sold 35,000 to the Rams fans, that's a little over halfway there. I'm sure there'll be some sympathetic Rams fans there, although the Cardinals are in the same division. And then, yeah, we're going to have a lot of Vikings. And the Vikings fans had to change their plans too. I mean, there's a lot of them coming from all over the country. They had to change their plans to get to Phoenix. So there's a lot of moving parts. We will get into that game. And yes, Fathead, I was talking about this. I was looking at it the other day saying, gosh, is there a chance Lamar Jackson really wins the MVP? Because he is kind of like Nikola Jokic. He just does all his advanced stats look amazing.
I got to tell you, I just can't see it. I cannot see them giving it to him a third time over Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been so good this year.
Yep.
And he has far less weapons to work with than Lamar does when you consider Zay Flowers and probably the best or second best running back in football. So I just have a hard time giving Lamar a third one over what we've seen Josh Allen do with what many people thought were a ragtag bunch of guys in the beginning of the year. And they haven't even been able to stay healthy throughout the year. So I think Josh Allen is your runaway MVP. I don't get these odds. There's a good chance I'm probably going to bet him to win the MVP.
Who? Allen?
Yeah.
Well, here, this is what we got. It's Bovada, so I don't have Bovada, but Lamar's minus 230, Josh Allen's plus 190.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any books here really offering them. I'm just seeing the Bovada, but if they are, it's fascinating to me. It really is. It's the first team all pro quarterback is Lamar Jackson. And that's why he is now the odds on favorite to win it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I just think Josh Allen is more valuable to that franchise than Lamar is right now, considering Derrick Henry's on the team.
Well, once they open it up at a book, then let's go bet it.
Yeah. Good chance.
Yeah. Yeah. So Bovada still has it if you have Bovada, but we'll see if they open it up to the American market again. This way, we do have some games to get to, though. And if you want to watch our premium broadcasts, is tonight going to be premium or are you going to go free for the college football?
Tonight's going to be free because last night was premium.
Okay. And then we've got 2 Saturday games. We've got the first game that we're going to get into right now, and then the Steelers and the Ravens. We got the Chargers, the Texans here. And the Chargers are 3-point favorites on the road, just universally 3-point favorites. This thing was 1.5 earlier in the, or 2.5 earlier in the week, and now sits at 3. The total 42.5, 42. Depending on where you go, that's come down a point or even 2 at some shops. Man, Justin Herbert is not getting any love, but this guy has not been turning the ball over. The problem with the Chargers, as we know, is that they don't have a running game. We have some major issues with CJ Stroud this season, and he's not getting the deep balls connected. He's 27th at QBR against zone coverages. Problem for him is the Chargers are going a lot of zone. So I think there's a lot working against the Texans. Can you make a case for the Texans getting the point this week, though? The 3 points.
It doesn't feel good because the Chargers are ascending towards the end of the year, and Houston just has not looked good down the stretch. So they've been going the opposite way. I've got LA 2.5 points better on a neutral, which would make this line like 1.5 on the road. So, no, it would make them a 0.5-point favorite on the road. So I just can't get there. I think that at 3, I can only look towards the Houston Texans. And I know that the under has gotten smashed, but I don't know, man. I kind of think this could get up and over 42.5. It would not shock me to see this game end 24-21. So, yeah, I at 3, I would lean the Texans, but do I feel good enough to pull the trigger on it? Not really. Not with the way they closed the year, not with the way that offensive line has looked down the stretch. And LA has looked very good. So I would be looking towards the 3, but I'm going to stay off, slight lean to the over.
We're talking about the Rams and the impact on their homes. Why aren't we talking about the Chargers?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they're already going to play in Houston, or just because?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, are they in the right headspace? Who really knows? You just don't know who lost their homes on these teams.
Yeah.
So, and everybody's there might be some players that start in this game and their world might be flipped upside down. You just don't know. But objectively, if I've got the Chargers 2.5 on a neutral, they're probably a 0.5-point favorite to me in Houston. And I mean, that 3 is aggressive, man. It's aggressive. But I think Tank Dell's priced into that a little bit down the stretch. Obviously, Diggs has been down, so they're dealing with injuries too. Maybe you can give LA a bump for that. But, like, I don't know. I feel like all the bias is pretty much priced in going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And, I can only look towards Houston here. Slight lean there, slight lean over.
Hey, we might have Tyler stop by for some player props. So what up? What up, Tyler, who might give us a Joe Mixon bet, it seems like. Let's get to number 2 on this. And we've got the Steelers and the Ravens. Again, bloodbath here. These two teams hate each other. You can find an 8.5 now on DK. So this thing went between 9.5, 10 all week, Keg. Friday afternoon, 8.5 at DraftKings, 9.5 everywhere else. And the total's at 43.5. So Lamar is what, 2-8 against the Steelers, or against the Steelers with Tomlin, but he had a really good game the last time they played. That's the first thing. Second thing, Steelers getting a little healthier defensively, but I don't know if you've looked at the Ravens defense over the last 6 months or so, but they are right there at the top, dude. This team's defense is flying around, and while I think the Ravens are going to win, is 9.5 points too much, Keg?
I don't think so. I think this line should be 10.5.
Wow.
I've got Baltimore 8 points better on a neutral and close to like 10.5 in Baltimore. So I was very surprised to see this line go from 9.5 at DK back down to 8.5. I was so certain that that line wasn't going to move that way that I actually bet a 7-point tease and I took Buffalo and Baltimore because I just could not see it going back to a teasable number. And I'm surprised. I think that this line should be 10.5. The total feels about right to me. I just don't think you can count on what exactly you're going to get out of Pittsburgh and Russ. So 43.5 feels about right to me, even if you think Baltimore is good for 27, 28. I still think 43.5, the under is in play at that point. Yeah, I mean, for me at this number,
yeah,
Baltimore is the side.
How big is the Flowers injury in this round against the Steelers?
He's worth probably 3/4 of a point, right?
Wow.
Which for me would take that line from about 10.5 to a heavy 9.5. So I still can't get to 8.5. So I still think Baltimore is the side.
All right, we'll sit on the teaser.
Rashad Bateman to the moon.
Yeah. And the guy that we didn't talk about in the last game was McConkey, who, this is interesting because the Texans are down 2 cornerbacks. Stingley doesn't play the slot. Bateman's a good buy. I think McConkey's an even better buy. And I think you're on some McConkey too.
Yep. Definitely on some McConkey. I think the numbers are probably gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's the current line of McConkey?
Gosh, let me go find out. If you had to guess, I would guess 75.5. What did we get him at?
We got him like 70 plus at -120. He's 75.5 at DK.
Yeah,
so yeah. And we took his 5.5 receptions, but that number is now -145 now. Yeah, so they're gone. But yeah, I mean, I think Houston's been killed by the slot all year. So I think that McConkey's going to have himself a day. You could say the same about Tampa later on with Washington as well. So I think that McConkey's in a good spot. I think Disley, like you said earlier, they just don't they're not that good at running the ball. So they're going to throw, Justin Herbert's going to throw the football a lot in this game. And I think you have to look at Disley and you have to look at McConkey.
Yep. Disley's my boy. Now, you didn't make a call on Disley yet, did you?
No.
And the problem is we're sitting here a day before the game. It's going to be tough. Let me check it out one more time. It's going to be tough to get in on Disley at this point. He's at 29.5 on FanDuel. Actually, that number went down a yard, Keg.
Yeah.
29 -13 at FanDuel. That's completely bettable.
I mean, they do have a couple tight ends that could see time. So I guess I get that. And I think, if he doesn't get a ball early, that number is going to drop depending on his workload. Because I know they have Stone Smart.
Yeah.
They have who else came back from injury?
This guy that they used out of there, but they don't use and Hayden Hurst.
Right. He came back. Didn't he come back from injury?
Yeah. I still think that the pass catching.
I don't know. He might be done. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I think that, if they're going to be successful, McConkey, like he has all year, is going to have to nuke. So I feel good about where we are there. I I'll be honest. I'm not betting anybody on the Houston Texans. Like the number on Nico, because he is really the only option, is just so far gone. To me, it's not worth paying that price. And then I guess you could look at people like Dalton Schultz, but he's been MIA as well for a large part of the year. So I guess Mixon would probably be your best bet, but I don't know. I'm staying away.
So here's the deal. We've got the college football playoff game Friday night. That'll be free. We'll have 2 NFL games and playoffs on Saturday. We'll have at least one of those behind the paywall. You're going to have to be a member, right? Sunday, we'll have at least one of those games behind the paywall if you want to live bet with us. And then we've got Monday Night Football too in Glendale, Arizona now, between the Vikings and the Rams. But if you want the pre-flop picks, you want the in-game bets, and we're the only place out here, in-game betting notifications, real time right to your phone. Keg makes a bet. Oh, hold on. Now I don't have to watch the show anymore. I don't need to look at those ugly mugs. I get it right to my phone. Sign up, $59.99 a month. Go to nukethehouse.com. If you want to try us for a free week, Nuke the Playoffs is the code. One word, Nuke the Playoffs. No, we're not going to talk college football playoff here, guys. We're doing NFL, and that's where we're at right now. Saturday is done. Let's go to the 3 Sunday games. And I know you love a couple of these, but the Denver Broncos, 8.5, 9-point dogs on a road in Buffalo. All the weather should be fine, by the way. Nice and chilly in most places, even upper 50s in Tampa. It's going to be nice. 47.5 is the universal total in this game, Keg. And while I think Bo Nix has had a great year, this is another team that can't run the football. And if you can't keep Josh Allen off the field, you got a big problem. And I think you and I are kind of aligned on this game.
Yeah, I think Bo Nix is a franchise quarterback. I think the kid is going to be good. I think he's going to be a starter in this league for a long time. I just don't think he is ready for the moment. And Josh Allen has been right there, man. I really think this is the year that Buffalo gets over the hump for me. I think it's either Buffalo or Detroit win it all. Maybe the Eagles, maybe. But I just think that this is a smash spot game for the Buffalo Bills. I think that they could pick their number. I would be surprised if Denver puts up more than 10 points in this game. I think that Buffalo's going to get out early, and it's going to be an avalanche running downhill. You might get some garbage time scoring from Denver, but in the meat of this game, I would be surprised if you get more than a touchdown. These kids, the one thing I am very happy about, though, with Bo Nix is when these kids get in these high-pressure situations, they revert back to what they know as instinct, and that kid's instinct is to run with that football. And I think he's going to try to run the football a lot. I just don't think he's a couple of years away from being ready for this moment against the best team in the AFC for my money. So this feels like a 35-10 spot to me. I think Buffalo blows the doors off this kid.
Might want to look at Bo Nix passing attempts if you think it's going to be a blowout.
I think he throws the ball 50 times because I think they're going to be down. I think this is one of those games where you can get beat by 24 and somehow throw for 300 yards in garbage time. Like, it would not shock me if he hung some pretty good numbers down the stretch, because I just don't think they're going to be competitive in this football game at all. I don't think that defense could stop Josh Allen. I just think that offense is so locked in this year. I just don't think it matters. So I would be looking for that kid to run. I have not bet any player props for Buffalo yet. Maybe Josh Allen rushing. I have to take a look at what that number opened at. I don't know how far that number has moved. Josh Allen has so many people he could throw the football to on that team. It is very hard to know who you can go to. Like, I feel like the one guy you could probably count on to get there is Shakir, because he seems to be the linchpin to that passing offense. But outside of that, man, I think it is it is a committee setting. I think everybody is in play to get there. And at that point, it's very hard to know who to pull the trigger on. So I think Buffalo is the best teasable side of the week. I'd be looking to tease them with as many teams as I could. And yeah, Bo Nix, the rushing numbers are still wrong out there on Bo Nix. They aren't what we got them at, which was bonkers, but they're still wrong. I still think you can bet him to run. And that's all I have in this game. I'm probably going to stay away from Buffalo player props unless I'm backing the Buffalo running game. That's where I'm at.
34.5 pass attempts for Knicks, heavily juiced to the over, and rushing yards now for Knicks. What are we getting at? Like 22.5? It's up to 26.5, 27.5.
I think we got his 60 plus at 15-1. It's 8-1.
Yeah.
70, 80 plus now is like 16-1.
Yeah, that's great.
The numbers were just so wrong. They were so wrong.
That's why you found the inefficiency and gave it to us.
Yep.
And subscribers, love it. You want the bets when you need the bets? Get in there, nukethehouse.com, subscribe. One free week, nuke the playoffs if you'd like to. Packers Eagles, you're really excited about this game, huh? So it's a 4.5, 5.5 point spread. DK has 5.5 point favorites for the Eagles. FanDuel has 4.5. You and I discussed this the second it dropped. You're like, this should be 5.5. At the time, it was 4.5. Maybe even 4. I think there was some question as to whether or not Hurts was going to play. Then you saw the line move when it was like he missed the practice. Then it moved right back. So 5.5 is where it should be. If I'm getting that 4.5 minus 15 at FanDuel, why would I not take the Eagles?
I should have bet the number at 3. It was 3.5 that the night that you and I did the Lions Vikings game.
Mm-hmm.
My only worry was Jalen Hurts, and I should have just automatically assumed that there would be a 0% chance he wasn't going to play, and I should have hit the button. But I wanted to wait, and then as soon as they figured it out, they moved the number to what it should be. Then it should be 5.5. I don't see an edge on the side right now at all. I just think Philly is, based on what I've seen from Green Bay down the stretch the last month, I just think that Philly is on another level because their defense, for my money, is a lot better than Green Bay this year. They have the best running game in football. And while I think I would rather have Jordan Love as a quarterback over Jalen Hurts, if Sirianni is smart and does the right thing, which is very hard to count on because it's Sirianni, if they run the ball 40 times in this game, they're going to win the game. If they don't, then some fuckery could be involved.
Whoa.
But I feel pretty good about the fact that if they rely on that defense and that running game, they will not lose this football game. But, who knows? Jordan Love banged up, got some wideouts that are banged up. They got some players that are defensive players that are hurt. I think that in Philly, tough ask for me to say they could beat that running game and defense. The problem is the numbers right now. There's no edge. In terms of the total, because I think that they will go very run heavy, I kind of lean towards the under because I think you're going to get a pretty big dose of Josh Jacobs too. And that makes me feel like the time is going to tick away pretty fast in this game. So I would say lean under. I have not bet any player props in this game yet as well, although Saquon Barkley to lead the weekend in rushing at 3-1 is a fair price. Don't get me wrong. I know Derrick Henry's playing. Bucky could nuke Washington and go for 100 plus. But I mean, Saquon, what he's done this year, 3-1 is a fair price when we're talking about 6 games. Aside from that, I've got nothing in this game right now.
Tyler's backstage. Tyler, give us 5-10 minutes, buddy. Stay there. I'm really looking forward to your props. I got I got two that I got to give out, but we're not there yet because we got a couple more games to go. Bang the like button. Come on over from X. Go to YouTube. Nuke the House is the channel. All you got to do is search it, hit subscribe, turn your notifications on so you know when we're on. Bean Air, long time, buddy. He's the opposite of Stenberg, who shits on the Jets. Bean Air crushing the Giants.
My guy.
Been a long time. Long time, friend. Good to see you back here. Two more games to get to. Two more games. And another one you're very excited about. Commanders Bucks. Everybody should be excited about this game. Should be a high-flying game. 50.5 is the total. Seeing a 50 out there now, so didn't see too many of those this week. 3 is the line. Tampa Bay 3-point favorites at home. This is big news that we just saw. Marshawn Lattimore is active. And if you know the history between Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans, you know that might be the best rivalry of the weekend. So I don't know how you cap Lattimore being in there. Again, it's a cornerback, but he does give Mike Evans fits. Those guys have fought multiple times. Lattimore's won the battles. Evans has won a few battles. So this is going to be fascinating to me. Daniels, Mayfield in the best season. He does lead the league in interceptions at 16. I want to bring that up. But how are we capping this thing? We like Jaden Daniels this week?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's going to run a lot. I think that this line should be 2.5. So I think that there's a little bit of value on Washington at 3. I like the over. I think that this is going to be probably the highest scoring game on the board. And that's why the total's the highest. I think that they could go up and down the field in this game. I think Bucky Irving is going to have a day. The problem is you're not getting any value. Washington, I think, down the stretch let up 162 rushing yards a game in the last month of the year. They weren't a very good running defense all year, and Bucky's probably going to go for 100, but the number for him to get 100 is a joke. It's terrible. So I think you could look maybe Bucky to lead the weekend in rushing at like 6-1-ish isn't a bad angle there. But yeah, I'm off the side. I do like the over, and I think that Jaden Daniels is going to be running in this game. I'd be looking to back him there, but I have not bet any player props yet on Tampa. Yeah, I've got nothing for Tampa so far.
All right, here we go. Last game to get to. Then again, Tyler's backstage. We're going to get him on for some player props too. Vikings, Rams. Say it again. Game has been moved to Glendale, Arizona. Tons of tickets for the season ticket holders for the Rams. They'll be heading down there. A little over 63,000 capacity. There will be a ton of Vikings fans. There were going to be a ton of Vikings fans anyways. But the Vikings are now 2.5-point favorites on the road. So things changed a little bit. They went from 1.5 to 2.5-point favorites because of the move. The total 48. I'm not seeing too much movement there. Maybe 47.5 to 48 was the big move. It touched 47 in a couple places. That was about it. So again, it's tough to cap this game, right? And I still think it's tough to cap the Chargers because the Chargers have the same issues. What the hell is going on with these players? Where's their minds? It's got to be on the playoffs, but this is real life. Houses burning down, families dying, pets dying, houses. I mean, just destruction. Utter. It looks like a bomb was dropped on a lot of those places. So, Keg, go back into it, man. It's tough to cap this game. No question.
Yeah, I have Minnesota 2.5 points better on a neutral, and the line is 2.5 right now because it's on a neutral. So it makes sense to me. At 3, I think that there is a little bit of value on the Rams. The problem is you just don't know where their head's at with in LA County just getting devastated. I mean, dude, did you see Malibu is gone?
It looks like literally a bomb just wiped the whole town out.
It's unreal. So, yeah, I mean, it's very hard to know where these people are in their head. But, you know, they are professional athletes. They train their entire life for this moment. You would think they're going to give it an honest effort regardless. But I think the line is dead on balls accurate at 2.5 because I have them 2.5 better on a neutral. The total feels a little low to me. I kind of feel like this is going to go over. The one bet I regret not making this week before the venue change, Sam Darnold to lead the weekend in passing was 9.5 to 1. We're talking about it last night on the show. I'm like, I want to bet Darnold at 9.5. And I checked it yesterday during the day. It was 9.5. And I want to bet Baker at like 6, right? So Yeg is like, yeah, we definitely have to bet that. He goes and checks. They move the line because it's on a neutral from plus 950 for him to lead the slate to 380.
Ugh.
380. So
Yeah.
that number's gone now. That's the one bet I regret not hitting the button on, is him to lead the weekend in passing at 9.5 to 1. But I think Baker at 8 to 1, you get a better number. I don't mind that. I'll probably throw a little something on that. I have not bet anything in this game, player prop wise. I have not bet anything in this game, side or total wise. My favorite look would probably be the over. But do I feel great about it? No, but that's probably my favorite look in this game.
Yeah, I think Puka's going to go ape shit again. He always does. That's the one guy you can count on. Matt Stafford eats against cover 0. That's what he's going to see a lot of against the Vikings. So, but again, they keep doing this to us, right? They price us out. We can't bet as high. His number's 89.5.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 100's not going to get you any. You can bet it. It's plus money.
You're going to get plus 110.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's do this. We got our boy Tyler here. Look at that background too. Have you ever seen him?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up, Dave?
You guys don't talk as much on the shows as much. Tyler's busy, you know. Keg's got his thing going on.
I'll be there this weekend with him. We might be there tomorrow night with him for the Steeler game.
Let's go.
Watch their funeral. Watch the Ravens just run all over him. Watch Likely go over his prop. Maybe get 50 yards for us at a nice plus number.
You know, you don't have to ask me twice, kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tyler throwing. The Cardinals did send their team planes out to go pick the Rams up. That's really nice of them. But hey, let's get into this because Keg, we talked about all your player props. I got a couple. We usually do nuke the props on Friday, anyways. Tyler, let's go. What do we got? What are we starting with this week?
We'll just start right at the beginning. We'll start with the Houston game. I don't really believe in this Chargers defense. It's stopped a lot of weak offenses, but when you go back and look through it, they've given up a lot of rush yards to decent rush offenses. Yeah, you stop the Raiders' rush offense. You held them to 39 yards. Who's the Raiders running backs? They're nobodies, and they have no offensive line. New England got the 96 with Stevenson and Drake May back there, and they really don't have an offensive line. Denver got to 110, and a lot of that was Knicks because they have no running backs.
That running game's terrible in Denver too.
Tampa Bay put up 223 rushing yards against this LA defense. Atlanta got to $116. Baltimore got to 212. I don't think they are good against better teams. Joe Mixon's numbers rate back down in the 70s where it was at the beginning of the year. I think he could easily get to 100 in this matchup. They're at home. He could easily break a big run against his defense. And I just don't believe in it. So I'll be on Mixon to score. I'll be on his alts. I also like CJ Stroud's rushing yards at 13.5 because can't really throw the ball outside of Nico Collins. So I could see him using his legs a little bit more. Then go ahead. I see you about to say something.
No, that's fine, dude. I'm just forgot to throw in my 2 bets, so I'm going to put them in right now.
Gotcha. I was going to say in the Steeler game, Likely's what seems like none of these receivers' numbers on the Ravens reacted to Flowers being out.
Only a yard or two. I'm with you. That is he still like 27.5? Because I was talking to Adam all week about him too.
Yeah, I think FanDuel's hanging at 28.5. I would bet the 28.5. Give me 40 plus, give me 50 plus. And I think you might even be betting them live to maybe get more than that because
I think him and Bateman are my 2 favorite options in that game, more than Mark Andrews for sure.
I trust the tight end more than Bateman here just because we'll have our corners back. He's going to get Joey Porter in coverage. And fast tight ends have always given the Steelers problems because they always end up trying to put some slow linebacker on him in coverage. So he just runs right past them. So I love Likely in that spot. I'll be right back on him. Was on them the first 2 times they played. So right back to him the third game.
Like it.
not touching George Pickens with a poll that can reach
No,
from all
no.
three of us.
Let's talk about George Pickens for a second because he cost me $3,000 last weekend, right? Now, 3 weeks ago, his number was like 72.5.
Yep.
I looked, Tyler, at Bet365 2 days ago. His number was 52.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute. What? I said to Adam, I'm like, are we obligated to go back in on this guy? I mean, when we were betting him at 72, you're getting a 20-yard discount. But, like, how do you feel good about it, bro? I mean,
yeah, you can't feel good about it because I think he could quit halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah.
He might have already quit. So that's the biggest thing. I really don't want to get involved. We could have egg on our face halfway through the first quarter when he catches a 40-yard bomb, though.
I'll tell you right now, if he goes for 130, doors will be broke.
That's the only problem is I could see it where we're sitting there and all of a sudden he's got 2 deep bombs. He's got a touchdown. They're in the game and he's got 100 yards and kegs breaking stuff in the background.
Yep.
So don't want to see that happen. But what do you think about getting on this Denver game to be the biggest blowout of the week?
I put it in Discord already. I like that. Yeah, I totally.
Yeah, I like that. You could do, what is it, lowest scoring team? I think Denver's plus 460. Yeah, I think the Steelers get more than 10 points.
I'm with you. I was talking to Signed about this, and his only comeback to that, which I guess kind of makes sense, is you probably get a little more out of Denver in garbage time,
correct,
than maybe you do with Pittsburgh. But I'm with you. If we're not worried about garbage time, I think Denver scores the least amount of points this weekend. Yeah.
Who's to say we get much garbage time with how this Bills offense has played this year? They'll grab a lead and they will just sit on that ball. They are fully content to walk out of here 28-0 and never really give them garbage time.
You're out of your mind if you think the Broncos are getting shut out. Come on, dude. That's just silly. They're not going to get shut out. They're going to get their butts handed to them, but they're not getting shut out. They're going to pass it 40 times. And Sutton and Mims is the guy I really love in this game. Sutton and Mims are going to – somebody's getting in the end zone here. Somebody's getting in the end zone. They're not getting shut out.
What's their actual team total? Is it like 19.5? That's a lot, bro.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting to 20.
19.5? Jesus, they're giving them a lot of respect.
That's steep.
It's because that offense, they can't run, so they just throw. Now, Clunan, here's my guy. I just put these bets back in because I wrote them down earlier today and finally got them in. Mims over 39.5 minus 15. He's just turned into a big play threat. So he's gone over this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7. He's really become a big part of this offense. He's got 13 catches over the last 2 weeks. And really to go along with that, and I think this is an even better bet, his longest reception over 18.5 at minus 22. Now, I don't love the juice, but every game, 37, 93, 53, 51, 93. Every game, this guy busts a big one, and I just like how they use him. Screens, slants, and he's been unstoppable to this point. This guy is just a big play machine. So I think he crushes the 18.5, and I think he goes over the 39.5. And those numbers really haven't changed. As a matter of fact, the 18.5 hasn't moved at all. I think Mims opened most places 38.5. So it's Sutton. I get it. And they're going to work on Sutton. They're going to sit on Sutton. Mims is going to get his this week.
I definitely think they found something with Mims over the last 5 or 6
but
weeks.
Real quick, Iowa, Mims is better than Worthy right now.
But I don't know about that.
No question.
Keep in mind,
Worthy catches balls when he's standing out of bounds. This guy's got a head on his shoulders.
All Mims is in the second half is what Vele was in the first half. For some reason, now it's just Mims.
Because this guy's big play threat. Vele wasn't as big a play threat.
Maybe, I guess.
Here's my biggest worry with Denver is we're kind of holding their offense to a higher standard. And since November 10th, when they took a 14-16 loss against the Chiefs, they blew out Atlanta. Their defense is terrible. You put 30 up on the Raiders, terrible defense. You put 41 up on the Browns. All they have is Myles Garrett. You put 31 up on the Colts. That defense ain't good.
You know what though, T? It is incredible to think about what that rookie did this year with
No,
literally
I'm not high on
they
him.
have no running game.
Yeah,
No.
I'm not very high on him coming into the year. I give him a little bit of credit towards the end of the year, but
Yeah, I mean he has to have wildly exceeded your expectations, right?
I
I mean,
wouldn't say wildly.
I think that you can make the case the last 6 weeks that he's been the best rookie quarterback in football. You don't think so?
I mean, yeah, but I think if you gave Jaden Daniels the schedule, we'd say the same thing.
You could be right. You could be right.
I think if we gave
At least Jaden Daniels has a running game, bro. Like Denver, it's that kid is throwing them to a win or they are dead in the water. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at least you got Robinson back there.
What do you think? You think Drake May does better with this schedule?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm with you there.
And that's my biggest thing when it comes to thinking about this Buffalo matchup. Because they scored 10 against Baltimore. They scored 14 against KC. They are going to hit a brick wall when it comes to trying to push this ball at the beginning of the game. They might not know how to react. It's also a playoff game. It's in Buffalo. They might get held under 7 points in this game.
What props are you on for Sunday?
For Sunday, I mean, I like the call on Saquon to lead the slate in rushing. I mean, you just go through all the running backs rushing props. He's the highest one. Derrick Henry's at like 99.5. Saquon's at 103. Bucky's at around 87. So you just have to bet Saquon to lead the slate at rushing at the plus number. I'm doing that. I want to maybe take a shot on Jordan Love's under rushing yards. I don't really think he runs against this Philly defense. I know it's 5.5, but it's low. I just don't think he runs. And I like the Jaden Reed spot here at 46.5. I know he's been a ghost for the back half of the season. He played a very good game against his Philly zone defense in that Brazil matchup at the beginning of the year. You got to think Love's going to go back to his guys in this playoff game. I think he gets around 6 to 7 targets. 46.5 seems really low. He could easily slice through the middle of the field and catch a big one too.
Who do you think wins that game?
I got Philly.
Me too, bro.
But if there's an upset on the weekend, I think that is the upset. Yeah, I don't think Baltimore is going to lose. I just don't trust this Pittsburgh team. I don't think you can really call it an upset in the Chargers-Houston game, whichever way it goes.
Same.
I don't think Denver's got a shot.
You guys can keep shitting on Denver. These guys have scored 24 points in 7 straight. They've scored at least 29 in 7 of 8.
They're just not. They're not.
I get it. They're very one-dimensional. But to say they're not going to score any points.
I mean, I told you. I thought the kid is a franchise quarterback.
They're going to score points. They're not going to win, but they're going to score points.
I bet you they don't get over their team total.
Now,
yeah, I'm going to be betting.
Fine, give me 17 points. I'll take 17 points. 17 fine.
I'll give you 19.5 at -110.
I don't think they're 20's tough. 17 I'll take. 16.5 over. 19.5 question.
You can't. I don't think you can call Washington Tampa an upset either way. You know.
Yeah, and you can't call a Monday night game an upset either way. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So this would be the upset. It would be Green Bay stunning them. Which I seen a comment in the chat earlier. I think Fathead said it. Jalen Hurts off a month. He is gonna be rusty. I could see him throwing maybe 1 or 2 picks that gives Green Bay some scores. All of a sudden, they have a lead. Saquon's kind of phased out of the game.
Dude, this might be a hot take. He's not good. I don't know.
I kind of agree with you.
Hot take. I don't know. I know that they went to a Super Bowl. I just don't think he's good at throwing footballs, man. I kind
of agree with you there. I don't think he's all that good of a quarterback.
Like Jordan Love is going to grade out career-wise much better than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Right here, let me grab my quarterback rankings. Me and Spread did earlier this year. Like, I had Hurts at 11. You take Stroud over Hurts, wouldn't you?
I would. Yeah.
You take Herbert over Hurts. I would.
100%.
Would you take Brock Purdy over him?
180.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
Would you take Jaden Daniels over him? I think Jaden throws a better football.
I think it's close right now. I'd say it's close.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I don't think he's all that good, but their defense is outstanding. They have the best secondary in football and one of the best running backs outside of Derrick Henry. So,
You have any props in the Washington-Tampa game?
I think we go right back to Jaden Daniels rushing yards. Hold
Same.
them up to 70 like we did that primetime game against Atlanta. You said it. These young quarterbacks revert to what they love when the games are big and they run. He's playing Todd Bowles. He's going to get blitzed all game. He's going to find a running lane. I won't be surprised if he breaks a 30-yard rush in this game. So, to be honest, anytime touchdown is rushing.
The one running quarterback I'm not on this week is Josh Allen. What do you think he's going to run?
I'm with you on the don't want to bet any props in that game.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at too.
Joe Brady has that offense so spread out, and it can go to anyone at any moment. I don't want to sit there and try and figure out which guy it is pregame.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's too many ways you lose that one.
I agree.
All right, best bets, boys. Let's do a little best bet action.
Best
what
bet.
do you got, Kegger? Let's go, Kegger.
All right. My best bet is going to be, let me give you the accurate number.
Okay.
I'm going to say Bo Nix 50 plus rushing yards at plus 460. Keep in mind, we have that number at like 8-1, but I still think it's wrong at 460. So I'm going to say Bo Nix 50 plus at 460.
Where did we get that 80 plus? Was that Caesars?
We have 60 plus at 14. We bet it off.
FanDuel. That's where we bet it.
Yeah.
That's where we bet it. All right. Let's go, Tyler. Best bet. I mean, Keg's obviously doing his thing with his plus money thing, and that's why he's so profitable.
Yep.
What do you got?
Sure. I'm going to go with likely over 28.5, and I'm going to alt him up to 40. The actual number you're getting on that is plus 180.
So you're just going nuts on likely this week.
Yeah, I think likely has a big game against us. Someone's got to get those targets from Zay Flowers. They talked about the weather being bad. The weather's not projected to be that bad anymore, so they're going to be throwing the ball. I like likely in that matchup.
I agree. I'm going to be on that too. If anybody needs my fucking,
I get the Keg stamp of approval on the best bet.
I couldn't agree more with Tyler. I'm definitely going to be on him. I thought that him and Bateman were the two guys, and I'm with you. One more play. If I was going to give away one more play, if you look at Lamar Jackson's average rushing yards throughout his career, and then you look at what he's done in playoff games, it gets a pretty considerable bump. Granted, Derrick Henry's not playing this, wasn't playing in the other years, but no Zay Flowers makes me think that if he can't find Bateman or Likely or Andrews, he's just gonna take off. So, and his number has really basically not moved. You could basically get 48.5 at open, and you basically are going to get that number right now.
That's wild.
So, yeah, I think that if you want just a regular minus 110, coin flip wager, that's not a bad way to go.
All right. Recreational purposes guy is going to go Mims over 39.5. Mims longest reception over 18.5. And then I got a little interception parlay plus 217. Russ Wilson, who likes throwing picks against the Ravens, and Bo Nix, each throwing a pick plus 217. There you go. Boys, it was a pleasure. Thanks to Tyler for stopping by. I appreciate it, Tyler. We'll have the college football playoff broadcast tonight, 7:30 Eastern, Ohio State, Texas. And Keg will be doing that one for free. Saturday, we got the wild card games, one behind the paywall, one for free. If you want to be a subscriber, and I know you do, nukethehouse.com. Subscribe, $59.99 a month, or just use the code, one word, Nuke the Playoffs. Free week, Nuke the Playoffs. Sign up, go for it. Tyler, thanks again, pal. It was great. We'll see you. Maybe we'll do next week. Well, we're going to do next week because we're going to have a lot of games next week, too, in the NFL.
Sounds like a plan.
Kegger, always good to see you, pal. You take care of yourself. We're going to go win us some money this weekend. I can't wait. And I'm holding. I'm going to go Nuke that house.